Griff, for more on former President Trump's legal battle as we kick off this election year, we're joined by constitutional attorney Mark Smith. Mark, good to see you. Thanks for being here. You know, even critics of Donald Trump are setting expectations that the U.S. Supreme Court will not keep the former president off the Colorado ballot. We won't know for sure until they make their final decision. But what about the ripple effect here? We can see from this map all of the pending cases in 15 other states, not counting Colorado and Maine. But what happens on a broader scale?
The bottom line is that the Democrats' attempt to keep Donald Trump off the ballot using blue state courts is now failing. And the U.S. Supreme Court recognized what was going on here, and they've stepped in, and they're going to fix it fast. Because it's pretty clear, if you look at the history and the text of the 14th Amendment, Section 3, which is the legal hook that the Democrats want to use in places like Maine and Colorado to keep Donald Trump off the ballot, it's really not a good argument. And I think the Supreme Court, probably in a 9-0 decision, is going to rule that indeed, if you don't want Donald Trump to be the next Republican nominee and you don't want Donald Trump to be the next president, then don't vote for him, but don't turn to the courts or to secretaries of states and try to make something up to keep him off the ballot. That's what the Supreme Court's going to say in a very detailed legal opinion, in my view. And the Supreme Court wants to nip this in the bud because, remember, right now it's Colorado and Maine, but we have a general election coming up. So if they don't fix it now, they don't want to deal with this in the fall.
Well, we're also watching the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals and Special Counsel Jack Smith. The court is going to hear arguments on this issue of immunity in the former president and whether he has that protection from his actions on January 6th. What are your expectations here?
Well, I actually think the bigger story with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit and their argument next week is whether or not they're going to step up and actually declare that the special prosecutor, Jack Smith, has been acting without authority this whole time, because there's a very powerful amicus brief submitted by the former Attorney General for Ronald Reagan, Ed Meese, that specifically says that Jack Smith is acting without authority because he wasn't appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate, which, for example, U.S. attorneys and the Attorney General has to be, among other things. Now, what's really interesting and sort of newsworthy here is that the 3-judge panel, which would appear at one level to be sympathetic to the Democrats because it's 2 Joe Biden appointees and a George H.W. Bush appointee. What's interesting is they specifically told the lawyers that they want to hear argument on the amicus briefs, which obviously would include this question of whether or not Jack Smith actually has authority to do any of the things that he's been doing for the last year. I would consider that a very troubling development if I were the Department of Justice and Jack Smith, because if they unwind all of his work, boy, that's going to be a big deal.
Well, so we're 10 months out from Election Day, and I want to put up this rolling list, and we have to roll it because the list is so long, of Trump's political and his legal timeline. This is what he has on his calendar in this year, that he is also running for president. There's almost a day that doesn't go by where he or his legal team isn't dealing with something. How is this even possible to approach from a legal standpoint, from a political standpoint? It's just so much.
Well, it certainly does look as it's a bit more than a coincidence, right? That all these cases that are being litigated today in 2024, it's not really clear why they could not have been brought years ago and already have been resolved. So the question is, why are all these cases brought in a timing sort of way that now Donald Trump has to spend a good portion of his time in 2024 litigating and dealing with the court system? Obviously, maybe it's a coincidence or maybe it's not, but it certainly seems to be very convenient from the point of view of the Democrats that likely, certainly one of the leading presidential contenders is going to be tied up in court and not on the campaign trail. I suspect that is viewed as a feature, not a bug of the system among certain people on the Democratic side here.
I mean, that is one packed calendar. Mark Smith, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your expertise.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.